Welcome guys, and in today's video we're answering your comments, so let's go. Welcome, and as you know, I love answering your guys' comments, and in the beginning I was able to reply to almost every single one of them all the time, but as time went on it just took a lot of my time. So I try to reply when I can, but ultimately it becomes kind of difficult. I will let you know every single morning when I wake up I check the comments. I read every single comment. There's probably not a comment that gets through without me seeing it. Unfortunately, I can't reply to them all because I just don't have the time. I do definitely try to reply to comments when I put videos out, just so you guys can still contact me. So with that said, every once in a while, I'd like to do a video like this where I can really answer some of the comments that you might have, somebody else may have had. Nonetheless, somebody had a question. Let's answer some of those. Right off the bat, I'm not even going to try to say the people's names because I'm going to butcher them anyhow. I'm going to hit the question and try to answer to the best of my ability. All right here. This person asks, how often should I be reapplying ink to my needle? So I'm assuming they're saying how often, let's say when they're lining, how often should they dip their needle into the ink? And how many lines can they get through before that? Well, obviously there's no definite answer to that. If you're running lines this long, I don't know, maybe a line. Hard to say. But for me, probably every 3 or so lines, maybe 4, it depends on their size. But I always like to if I'm even questioning it, just dip the tip into some ink and you're good to go. Just rather be safe than sorry. We've all ran a line where when we were done, we pulled the needle up and looked and said, oh crud, I probably should have had more ink in my tube because I'm going to have to redo this line anyhow. So that's that. Just pay attention. If you're doubting it, dip in. Okay, somebody commented on one of the fake skin videos and they said, how do you keep your stencil from rubbing off? Now, in the video, I put the stencil on and you can do 2 different things. You can either let the stencil sit on the fake skin for about 24 hours. So leave it there, come back the next day, and you should be good. That stencil's not going to run away from you. You can wipe all you want. The second thing you can do is get a blow dryer, a heat gun, and just gently take your time and heat it up. And I mean, it's still going to take a little while. It's not going to take 24 hours, but if you're patient enough, you can get to it in the same day. If you use a blow dryer or heater, really let it settle in there. And you can just check with your finger. Just give it a little rub. If it's not coming off very well, rub a little harder in one spot. If it's not coming off, then you're probably good to go. So hopefully that answers that question. Okay, next question is a question, what about the color inks? You have such intense, beautiful colors in America. What brand are these? Now, the brand ink I use majority of the time, about 80% of my ink is Eternal. That's just the brand I have. I have some Fusion, I have some other brands, but most of it is Eternal. And obviously my black is Dynamic. My white is Starbright White. I don't, and they also say, can I order them from Europe? I'm not sure. Check it out. Look up Eternal ink. They also ask, do I have a website? I do not have a website. And they say, greetings from Belgium. Greetings back at you. So again, I hope that helps you out. Okay, somebody else asked, do you have any good coil machines that you would recommend? Now, if you guys follow the channel, you know I don't really mess with coil machines. I did very little in the beginning. And the machine that I used was a Mickey Sharp's micro dial. And it ran great. I did several mini tattoos with it. But as soon as I got my hands on a rotary machine, there really was no going back for me. It's a big part of the culture and the history, so at least using it, knowing how to use it down the road is always something good. It's also the one I have tattooed on my hand. So from my experience, that's about the only one I can really recommend. Okay, the next one, it says, what's that foam stuff everybody is using now for wiping? I'm not sure what they mean for wiping. I think, and the only foam stuff I'm aware of that I use would be after I'm done with the tattoo. If I really want to clean it up, you can use green soap, you can use distilled water, but they also make some foaming agents. Just kind of squeeze it onto the tattoo. You rub it in real good. You pretty much you're literally cleaning the tattoo, and then you're wiping that away. You might also see that on Instagram and stuff when people are displaying their tattoo. They'll foam it all up and then hit the camera and wipe it, whatnot. That's all that is. It's just a foam. Put on there, it cleans the tattoo, and you can wipe it right away. You don't really use it, or at least I don't ever use it during the process of tattooing. It's just some extra stuff. It's not a necessity. Okay, somebody asks, and I've answered this question a few times in different videos, but we'll answer it now. They ask, what is the product, the ointment that's on the back of my hand in most videos? Now, for me, I'm currently using Inkies. It's a petroleum-based product that I really like. It's made specifically for tattooing and for this purpose. There's some other products you can use as well. A&D, Vaseline, Hustle Butter, and that's pretty much all that is. But for me, I'm using Inkies. I hope that answers your question. A question I get quite often is, I'm kind of older, I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s. Can I get into tattooing? And the answer is absolutely you can get into tattooing. You can get into tattooing at any age, in my opinion. It's an art form. Can you draw at 40 and 50? Yes, you can. Can you do painting? Yes. Can you do calligraphy and spray painting or whatever? You can. And if anybody tells you can't, then just forget them. Get them out of your life, get them out of your mind, because you can do anything you want to do at any age you want to do it. I got into tattooing not even less than 4 years ago, and I just dedicated my time to it. I kept my mind on it, and I could be doing more. I could be focusing harder and moving further, but I'm letting the process build and go on its own. I'm not rushing things, but I'm not just sitting back doing nothing. So yes, absolutely, you can do it at any age, within reason, obviously. You don't want to be underage, and you don't want to be too old to where your hands are shaking, because that's going to be tricky. So I hope that answers that question. I mean, I started tattooing right into my 30. I think I was 30 when I really started to get serious. 29 maybe when I started. And it was a whole new world. And if you just keep an open mind and keep working at it, you can do anything you want to do. So absolutely, absolutely. Also, on a side note, it's like one of the best things when I hear you guys accomplish stuff. When people tell me, hey, I just got my apprenticeship yesterday, thank you so much for your help. I mean, that's awesome. That's what keeps me going. And just know that your wins, I feel like, are my wins. I want to share your ups with you and help you through your downs. So if you have grown in this time and with this channel, congratulations to you. You did it. You put in the hard work. You got yourself where you're at, and keep working hard at it. If you started and you've fallen off, then maybe tattooing isn't for you. But then again, maybe you're just not ready to put in that hard work. And I know there's been several people who started, quit, got back into it, and are really fired up and moving down the road. So keep your heads up and keep working at it. Here's a great question. They ask, what is the right time to use green soap versus distilled water? Now, I pretty much use distilled water all the time. About 90% of the time I'm using distilled water. If I want to wipe it down, I'm going to use distilled water. If my lining is already complete and I'm doing the shading, my towel has distilled water on it. It helps wipe the ink off, especially since I'm not worried about losing my stencil. And any time that I want to, wipe it down, I try to use distilled water. When I use green soap, it will pretty much be if I'm going to take a break. If I'm done with this section with this amount of time, the lining's complete, I really want to clean it up. I really want to get all the black ink off or colored ink, and I really just want to see what I'm doing again, get a full fresh start. Then I will use green soap, and I try not to use too much of it. The reason why is it irritates the skin after a while, especially if you're wiping with green soap and then tattooing and wiping with green soap and tattooing, really going to irritate the skin. So again, before breaks, when I'm done with the tattoo, I'll wipe it down. Anytime I've hit like a milestone and I really want to see what's going on, I really want to get a fresh start, I use green soap. Other than that, I use distilled water. It does the job pretty good, but the green soap will just really, really clean it off that much better. So use it only when you need it. I hope that answers that question. All right, another question here is, how do I keep my hands from shaking when tattooing? Okay, I'm going to do a video on this, which is pretty much going to be short and sweet, but nonetheless, your hands are shaking because you're nervous. I don't know if you've ever gotten in a fight or had the build up to a fight or been super angry or whatnot. Sometimes your hands, your body starts to do this because you're like either in a rage, you're whatever's going on, your body is kind of freaking out a little bit. It's ready to snap in that case. But when it comes to tattooing, especially once you start tattooing real skin, and maybe it's the first few times, maybe it's a friend that you're tattooing, they know your situation, whatever, but nonetheless, you're shaking because you're nervous, because your body is freaking out. So what you need to do is calm down. Literally try to put your mind in a space that will calm you down. Talk to yourself. Let yourself know, we got this. We got this. You're fine. You're fine. You can do this because hopefully you've practiced and all that, and you can at least kind of reassure yourself, take some deep breaths, lean over, calm down. It should help those shakes just a little bit. And the more calm you get, the less shakes you're going to get. Again, I'll make a video about this, adding just a little bit more details to it so people searching can specifically find it, because it's a good question and we've all been there. Okay, just for giggles, somebody says, can we get a video on that beard? You must be straightening that boy, that bad boy. And the truth is, something similar to that. Every time I get out of the shower, I have to blow dry the doggone thing with a comb and a blow dryer. Just like this. If not, it wants to do all kinds of crazy stuff, and it drives me insane. So it's a lot to take care of this thing, but I just don't know what I would do without it. I would feel naked, I guess. Someday I get it'll go, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if we hit some huge milestone, I'll shave it off or maybe trim it up. I don't know. We'll worry about that when it gets there, but you're right. I don't straighten it, but I do blow dry it after the shower. So there you go. Now you know. Now go ahead and make fun of me now. Okay, somebody asks, hi man, which is better, stencil stuff or Electrum for stencils? I have a video, I'll link it somewhere up here. But in that video, I kind of tested them all out. Not super scientifically, but we tested them out. At the end of the day, Electrum is a solid stencil solution. But for me, I still stick with stencil stuff. I just like it. I've used it more than anything else, and it held up just as good as anything else, so I would use that. So I hope that answers your question. If you want, you can go check that video out and make up your own mind. There's also some other products that work really great as well, so check it out. Okay, simple question. Somebody asked, what's the wrap around my machine? That's literally sports wrap. If you go on Amazon and look up sports wrap, you'll find it. You can go in the description below of every one of my videos, and I have links to the products that I use, and sports wrap is one of them. There might be other names, but that's what I know it as. Somebody asked, if I can draw, can I tattoo? That's kind of a interesting question / statement. And yes, knowing how to draw is absolutely going to help you out in tattooing, but there's a set of skills you have to learn. And until you learn those, your drawing abilities can't really translate into tattooing. And those skills would be, you need to learn how to line, because it's solid. It's the foundation, in my opinion, of tattooing. You have to learn how to pack color or solid blacks, and you have to learn how to shade. At least get a general feeling of how to put tones into the skin. Once you understand those three things, and of course, how to put a stencil together and read a stencil for yourself, once you have those things, then yes, absolutely, those art skills can come into play. Heck, they can come into play when you know how to line, because maybe you can design stuff that works really great with lining. So yes, your art skills will definitely translate into tattooing as long as you have the foundation and understand that there are a set of skills you're going to have to learn before you can translate those over. So the next person asked, and I'll give you a little context. What they're referring to is I was doing some color in a video, tattooing color. They said, do you wait to do lighter colors at the end so when you're wiping off darker colors, the lighter spots don't absorb in? The overall answer to that is yes. That would be the way to go. Work from dark to light so that if you put your light colors in first and then you're going to put your blacks in and your dark colors and you're wiping that ink off, the concern would be that it would get saturated into the lighter ink spots and distort your colors. So overall, yes, that is how you want to do it. But there have been plenty of times where I have not followed that rule. It just comes down to how I wanted to operate on that exact piece. I felt like I needed to put those lighter tones in so I could see things a little bit better, then maybe put some of those other darker tones in, then work back and forth. It does depend on what you're working on. Overall, I would say absolutely, without a doubt, put your darker colors in, work towards your lighter colors. Now, when it comes to white, I will always pretty much put white in last. But when it comes to lighter or darker colors, again, it will depend on what I'm doing. Most of the time, it will be darker than lighter colors. But again, sometimes I don't really care, to be honest with you, because I've not noticed a huge difference. I've not really noticed those darker inks truly affecting those lighter inks in a way that would really make me super concerned. But again, I don't do that all the time. It's case by case basis. So I hope that answers your question. And one of the craziest comments is somebody commented, first dislike. Well, you know what? You got to be first for something. So without any dislikes, what would we be doing? We have to have haters. We have to have people that push us, that make us want to do better. You know that voice, those people who are telling you, this is a stupid idea, you shouldn't do this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Without them, those are the kind of people that make me want to do better, make me want to do more, make me want to push harder to prove them wrong always. So, if someone's hating on you, disliking you, then use that to fuel your fire. And with that said, I also want to thank everybody, because the majority of these comments are actually people really, really appreciating what we're doing here and explaining and telling me what they have done and how the videos have helped them. And again, that's what keeps this fire lit and me pushing. So thank you all for sharing all that stuff. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for the support. I truly, truly appreciate it. Really do. Remember, we're here to build each other up, not break each other down. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe, ring the bell, and God bless. I'll see you next time. Peace.